how much technical side of photography does a professional photographer need to know? What is the level of like camera tech, gear tech, lighting tech you need to understand to be a pro? Now, firstly, this varies photographer to photographer, and we'll get to that later because it's quite interesting. But I'm going to tell you what I need to know to do my job and what I know to do my job. And what I don't know, because there's quite a lot of that. I mean, it's probably not got time to go through all of it, but let's start on this. I need to know certain things. And most hobbyists and amateurs will probably know more than me about some of these topics, but let's start here. I need to know what a focal length will do. I only have two focal lengths. I have 90 and 50. 50 is if I want to get close and distorty and throw the background out, and say throw it out, not out of focus, like throw it out. 90 is if I want a bit less distortion and to bring it in. That's my lens choices. Now, I can learn a lot about lenses, and in the past I have done, but thankfully I have a very small brain. When new information comes in, something goes out. Yesterday I learned something about the Russians during World War II, and this morning I couldn't remember my PIN code for my bank card. That's what we're dealing with here. So that's what I need to know on lenses. Cameras, what do I need to know? I need to know what shutter speed does, what my sync speed is, what the best ISO is in terms of colours, because I don't know if you know this, as ISO goes up, you lose colours. That's about it. Actually, no, that's not about it. That is it, because the apertures on my lenses and my cameras, but that's all I need to know. There's loads of stuff you can learn about a camera, but that's what I need to know. Lighting. I need to understand what modifier will create what sort of look, but not to the point where I know that one particular parabolic does something slightly different to another parabolic. I just need to know I might need a parabolic for this, might need a hard box, might need a reflector, might need a zoom reflector, whatever it may be, might need a nice big softbox like I've got here. That's all I need to know. I don't need to know the minutiae. And when it comes to lighting, lighting is actually my strongest point in my work. It is perhaps the bit I understand the most. I can light anything anyhow. I have made sure that I can literally look at a scene and go, if you put that light there 4 meters away, 2 meters up, and you angle it like this with this modifier at this power, it's going to be f16 over here. The fall off will be this. The shadows will be down to f2.8. I know that in my head. Anything about how to light, I know. Knowing what this thing here on the end of it is called, I know it's some sort of reflector, but I'm sure it's got a special name. I have no idea. That's irrelevant to my work. That's what my assistant will know, and that is certainly what my lighting assistant will know. But I know as well that, oh yeah, we need to put the light a meter further up and come in half of a meter to make sure the shadows look perfect for the distance I want. I don't know why I know this. I'm assuming a lot of it is down to having done it thousands and thousands of times, but that's what I know. I don't know how to use Photoshop. I do know how to color grade in Capture One because I want to get the color grade right, but it goes to a retoucher for everything else. There's things I do and things I don't need to know. Now, back in the day when I was a wedding photographer, which are the dark days I don't like to talk about, I could walk into a room and go 1250 ISO, 2.8 60th of a second, 1/8 flash power off the ceiling. That would get us right. And I knew that because I needed to know that. I didn't know what aperture was sharpest. I didn't know which ISOs were better. I just knew what the exposure was in the room by eyesight. Of course, you don't know it from day one. Again, it's that repetitive skill, which is probably where I am with the lighting now. I know photographers who do not know anything about how to light. I know photographers who do not understand how to expose an image and their assistant sets it up for them. Because photography, and this is where the hate comes in the comments, because this is professional photography, not hobbyist photography. Photography is about the photograph. And if you want to tell me that being able to set your exposure yourself correctly is more important than knowing what looks good, I don't know what to say. If you think that understanding the difference between two different types of lens coatings is more important than knowing what looks good, we're running a losing battle here, because it's not. What matters in photography is the image. I get a lot of flack on YouTube because I actually work as a professional photographer, and we have somebody press the button, check the exposure for me, set the lights up. We have all of these things, but I'm the person who knows when it's right. I'm the person with the style and the voice. I'm the person who understands how to adjust it. A lot of the time, my set's pretty much done when I come in. I do a little sketch before we go in. I can calculate lighting diagrams like there's no tomorrow. I can literally, with pen and paper, draw the lighting setup with the powers and everything and know it's going to be pretty much right. I will then come in when it's all done and finesse it. I'll be like, oh, let's move that one 2 feet to the left. Let's move that an inch further to the right. That looks perfect now. Brilliant. That's what the photographer does. And in fashion and portraiture, it's the interaction with the person. That interaction with the person and knowing how to make them feel good, knowing how to get the best out of your subject, that's what the photographer does. They don't worry about whether 5.6 or f8 is going to be a sharper image. They don't worry about whether 160 ISO is better than 100 ISO for portraiture. They, in still life, for sure, they worry about that. It changes genre to genre, but there's a lot of things we just don't need to know about. I used to be a film photographer. I'd be able to tell you that if you use like a high actions developer like Rodinal and FP4, exactly what it'd look like if we exposed at zone 3. I used to know that stuff. Now, because it's no longer relevant to me, I don't keep that information up there. What I just said might have been completely incorrect because I can't remember. But I used to understand that. I used to know how to push develop color film. I used to know how to calculate the failure of the developer for color stuff each day, making sure it all came out nicely. Very good knowledge of scanning negatives and like Hasselblad scanners and stuff like that. I really understood that when I was a portrait photographer. But now that I'm not that, I don't need to know that information. I really understood the use of getting like good lighting on the face and the direction of lighting based on the shape of the face, the hairstyle. But then you've got these photographers going, well, I think the catch light like this looks better. Like nobody cares about the catch lights. And there are so many pitfalls. And because obviously modifiers want to sell you that if you have this, you get a nicer catch light, they get some mug like me to go, look how great the catch lights are from this modifier. And then you think that catch lights matter. They don't. There's so much in photography that doesn't matter. And the technical side of it is really one of those. There are people whose job is literally to do the technical side of it so you can take the photos. Do you think Henri Cartier-Bresson sat around going, there's 3 different 50mm Leica lens versions I could be using. I wonder which one's best. Or do you think he went, I've got a 50mm lens on my Leica, let's crack on? I doubt very much he was worried about these things. I might be wrong, but if you know that I'm wrong, do let me know in the comments below. I doubt that Don McCullen sat there going, well, Tri-X is great, but maybe I should try a different film stock. I'd imagine it's more likely he went, shooting Tri-X, I know how it works, let's keep shooting Tri-X. He didn't move to digital until very, very late because he knew how to shoot film. Some of the best wedding photographers in the world still shoot film because they know it inside out. They haven't got time to learn digital. So how much tech do you need to know? And the answer to this, annoyingly, and I know it's annoying for everyone because people want a black and white answer, it depends. It depends on who you are as a photographer. But know this, whatever level of tech you have as knowledge, or however well you cope with technical knowledge, just work with that. Work with what you've got. If you're not a techie person, don't dive down it trying to understand it. Know that there's people who can help you. If you are a techie person, maybe park the tech for now and focus on creative, because that's what's going to make the real difference to you. I mean, a lot of photographers who are very technical, and they really lack in the creative field. And to be honest, if you had to be one of the two and you wanted a successful professional commercial career, be a creative photographer, do not be a technical one. There's no money in that compared to creativity. I hope this very meandering, no solid answer video has been of use to you. I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.